Don't believe they can win. How many winners quit the race just before victory is there because they don't think they can win? Nick's opinion. I think champions are born. A lot of people think you can make champions. I respect your opinion. But no matter who you are, without a team, baby, it's almost impossible to be a champion. You can have all the talent in the world, but you must have a team and a plan in place to develop talent. And also, along the way, you may have to adjust that plan. I flunked the written test because Italians don't know how to read in college to become a Navy pilot. Instead, I became a master paratrooper. But you know what, everybody? Every time a plane went by, I said, someday I want to fly me in a jet. 41 years later, I flew with the Blue Angels, baby, in the F-18s, and I did not do pooping. Champions find a way to make it happen. No matter how long it takes, they find a way. And all of you in this room, put this down in your notes. It's not, I did it, we did it. I don't care who you are. Shared values serve to build effective teams. All teams have values. Some good, some bad. Effective high-performance teams demand positive values when each individual team member can embrace, live by, and share with every other member of the team. These values are critical in a competitive world of constant change. Established core values must remain constant and establish a central vocal point for each team member to reference. Written by my pilot who flew me and former commander of the Blue Angels. It's all about teamwork. I'm in, I think, 13 Hall of Fames, but when I got into the International Hall of Fame 4 years ago, I was introduced by my good friend Mary Carrillo, who said, Nick is the best coach in the world. So I took the microphone and I said, there are many other great coaches, but I hold the undisputed title of 8 wives. I gave a speech in the New York Yankees a few years ago, and this big athlete stood up in the back. He said, Mr. B, why are you still working, baby? I said, you got to pay alimony 8 wives, you'll still be working. Even though you have certain things that are unbelievable, people with lesser talent, but with a very wise mind, can often beat the more talented player. An example, my buddy Brad Gilbert, great announcer on TV for tennis. His strokes were so ugly, I wore 3 pair of Maui Jim glasses. But you know what? He beat Agassi. He beat Becker with his mind, baby, with his mind. So all of you, don't tell me you don't have the physical talent that maybe some of the other people do. You can beat them with your mind. People with lesser talent, but with a very wise mind, can often beat the more talented players and become a champion. Talent, talent, talent. There are 2 tennis players right now that have a lot of talent. One of them happens to be an Italian, Fabio Fognini, and Nick Carey is from Australia. but each of them lack up here what it takes. Now, Nick Kyrgios from Australia goes crazy on the court. If I coached him, I would listen to him first for about an hour. I would not say one word. I'm going to try to find out what makes him tick and what he will accept. So all of you, no matter what you do, become a better listener. That's what I learned from Andre Agassi. He came to me when he was 15 years old to go home for Christmas vacation. He said, "Nick, do you ever listen?" "No." He said, "Will you listen to me today?" "Yes." He said, "The dean wants me to cut my hair, Nick. Will you take care of it?" And I did. Okay? Champions find a way to get through their nerves. Don't be embarrassed to say that you're nervous. Everyone is nervous. When I made my first jump, an officer or a sergeant jumped first or last in a mass jump. I happened to be an officer. This little bug private looked up at me. He said, "Mr. Lieutenant, you going to jump?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You scared?" I said, "Son, I have a diaper on." And believe me, every time I jumped, I was nervous. So don't be ashamed to say you're nervous, but find a way to get over it. Another thing, never use the word, "I can't do it." So many years ago, a young boy, 17 years old, I took him to Washington, D.C. to try to qualify to get into this big tour. He had just signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Nike. Got out on the court, had his hair all duded up, yeah, looking good, baby. And he didn't make the qualifying round. I walked out of the coach's box, and I said to his brother Philip, "Where's my boy at?" He said, "Nick, he's across the street breaking his rackets." I walked across the street, everybody, and I said, "Andre, what's wrong, son?" He said, "Nick, I don't have it. I can't do it." I said, "Andre, do I have a watch on?" "No." "Don't you ever say you can't do it, but say I will do it." 2 weeks later, we went to Vermont, beat the number 6 player of the world, and went on to be one of the best players ever. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what it takes, you find a way. So many people give up too quickly. I built the first living sports academy of the world, the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, on 40 acres. Now the IMG Academy, 600 acres, 10 sports. When I built the first living tennis academy, 60 Minutes, 2020, Sports Illustrated, all talked about it. My friend Maury Safer was interviewing a sports psychiatrist from Stanford who said, "This man is crazy. This man beats his students up. He don't feed them. He makes them wash his cars," which I did. I'm all Italian. My mother's watching the television. My father's a very quiet man, the youngest man to graduate from Fordham Pharmaceutical School. And my mother, looking at the television, "How much you need, Teddy? Look at that skin." Cursing at the interview. And she said to my father, Jimmy, why are they talking about her son that way? Listen to what my daddy said. Mary, if you ain't nobody gonna talk about you. And no matter what they say, you say thank you and let the results of what you do in life do the talking for you. Now in a little town of Bradenton where the academy is, if a person has one court in their backyard, it's an academy. So there are thousands of them. But remember something. I believe there were two crazy men. One who built the first living tennis academy of the world, Nick Bollettieri, and Richard Williams, who taught his daughters Serena and Venus, and I was honored to be part of the team for 3 or 4 years. He did things that people said couldn't be done. I believe that sane people do things they know they can be a success in. Crazy people do things that people say you can't do. And that's me. How you doing, everybody? You doing all right? Yeah. All right, let's see here the next page. I don't know how to use a computer. So a few months ago, with my manager, Steve Schuler, I said, Steve, I'm going to write a book. This book I'm going to write. I have about 10 books. I wrote a book. My thumb is twice the size, freehand. Every single word. And it's called A Coach's Journey. 60 years of my life. It'll be an interesting book broken up into 4 segments. What I learned from my best students. And I learned something from each one of them. Boris Becker, Andre Agassi, Jim Curry, Maria Sharapova, Venus Serena Williams, Martina Hingis, Tommy Haas, Anna Kournikova. I learned something from each of them. Then there'll be about 40 simple motivational tips and a few simple tennis tips. So who plays tennis here? Raise up your hand. All right, I'm going to give you a free tip, but I'm going to charge it to my man, Mr. Fair. I want you to do what we Italians do. Anything close, it's out, baby. And then last, unbelievable, brought tears to my eyes. I've gotten about 60 emails and texts of the impact that I made on people's lives. From students who came here, who came to the academy at a young age and moved on. That's what Nick wants to be remembered for. Because when you make an impact on a person's life, it goes on for generations. In the late 80s, I'm at the French Open. I'm sitting with my close friend. And he says, Nick, what are we going to do about the hundreds of thousands of boys and girls that'll never get to hit a ball? Don't worry about it, baby. I'll take care of it. That man was Arthur Ashe. And I started the Ashe Bollettieri Inner City programs in Newark, New Jersey. When we walked into the park the first time, gun shells on the grass, police were guarding us. Arthur looked over his shoulder and he said, Nick, are we coming back? I said, yes, Arthur, because we cannot give children a one-day false festivity. you're better off not doing anything. So now I do a lot of the inner city programs for the USTA as well. Giving children what can we expect our two adopted sons from Ethiopia to do? To give other children the same opportunity. Help people. That's what it's all about. And I tell you what, the greatest gift in the world is to help somebody that they don't know who helped them. That's a gift from your heart, baby. Not a gift to get a lot of press. You know, as I go along in life, I say to myself, Nick, are you going to keep going? Listen, put this down in your notes. Don't you ever use the word retirement. You use the word, I'm going to change professions. You understand? And listen, when you are getting a little older, all you got to do is put on Saturday Night Fever, baby. That's all you got to do. And Barry Gibbs is a good friend of mine, and Barry's two sons came to me at the academy. As I look around in here, and I see a lot of people, you know what? If you go home and have learned one thing, you coming here is a success. Learn a little bit at a time and it'll stay with you. Learn a lot right away, you'll lose it. Okay? Now, I would like to take a little time to thank Tom and Kathy Ferry and their super staff for doing what they're doing. Round of applause. But Mr. Ferry took me aside and he said, Nick, make me a champion. My answer, you have proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are already a champion. But you need Nick Bollettieri to become a Grand Slam champion. And you know what? I got a lot of alimony payments coming up, baby. I need to make that big money. All right, and a couple other things I'd like to tell you. All of you here, or many of you here, have children. This is not an easy time. Our world is upside down. So I'm going to give you a few suggestions. I grew up in a black Italian neighborhood, a little town outside New York, North Pelham, New Rochelle. I grew up in a black Italian neighborhood. My grandmother was the ruler of the neighborhood. This is how my grandmother greeted me when I came home from grammar school. Sonny, Venequan, give Grandma a big kiss. All right, Grandma. You good boy in school today? Yes, Grandma. You do everything teachers say to do? Yes, Grandma. Go out and play. You people, be honest. Did you get an A today, son? Did you get an A today, dear? Coaches, did you win today? Are you kidding me? You don't judge people by just what the scoreboard says. You judge people by the effort that they put into doing things. And even if the scoreboard says you lost by numbers, you can play for me. And my friend, who helped me get started with one of my first camps in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, the great Vince Lombardi, said, my teams never lost, we just ran out of time. When you go out to do a job, or you tell your boss, I'm going to try to do the best I can, Tom. You can't be on my team, baby. Be the best you can do. You've accepted second place. You go out to win. That attitude gives you a chance to make the deal. But don't ever tell me you're going to do the best you can do. You tell me you're going to win. I gave a speech at West Point. I speak all over the world. And the general took me in his room after the speech. He said, Lieutenant, you spoke our F language today. I said, what do you mean, sir? You said if you play the best you can play, get in the corner. As a soldier, you're dead. You go out to win, baby. To win. My last remark is all about winning. Leo DeRocha said that if he was playing third base and his mother was coming around with the winning run, he'd trip her right on her ass. They said, Mom, you told me it's all about winning, baby. So all of you, listen to your children. Listen to them. Build up their self-esteem so they can say no to drugs and alcohol and violence. It's a tough world for the children. Yes, demand that they do the best that they can do. But if they do that, and then they end up in first place, they should be a winner for you. And take care of yourself, everybody. You only have one body. Take care of yourself. So I want to say thank you to Tom Ferry and to all of you. And I hope you picked up one little tip that can help you with your personal life, with your business. And God bless you all.